the amount of money that went into my savings account after I paid taxes, all of my fees, all of the things, it was less than $400 that I put into my bank account. If you're in 5 pillars, I feel like you are a person who is very resourceful and always looking and finding your own solutions to stuff. There are so many resources. Whether I want to pop in live to one of our weekly calls, this is so much less stress and so much more in line with how I envisioned real estate was going to be.
At that time where you're working your tail off and you're doing a good job, to then be told no, that there's no negotiation. I want to talk about your feelings.
I knew my worth. I knew that there was a winner and a loser. Got to find my exit route. The bigger stressor was, it is so much work to switch brokerages. I want to make sure that for this change, that it's the right move and it benefits me the most. There was a local to me brokerage that was recruiting me hard. They wanted me so bad.
What does your schedule look like to make sure that you're prioritizing your family first and then your clients and then your business? Talk a little bit more about that, like advice to agent moms.
Yeah, I started a mom group. If you're an agent mom, then you need to be self-driven. But really it's about melding your life and what it is that makes you a mom, what it is that is taking up all of your time and making it your superpower. We're told that the sign of being successful is how many deals you've closed, how many leads you've tracked down, how many phone calls you've made. I am building a business.
Amanda Freeman, welcome to Allie the Agent.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm stoked that you're here. And I was so stoked when you sent me the text a couple of weeks ago when you said, I'm going to read it straight from what you said, because your words, like this made me so happy. You said last year, can I read it? Actually, can I read it out loud?
No, please do. Please do. Yes.
Here I am like reading our text and you're like, oh, Allie, to give you permission. Okay.
Go for it.
Last year on a team, I closed 8 deals. Average close price was $440,000. This year, we're in 2025. This year, closing deal number 3 this week and having an outbound referral closing in 2 weeks. Average close price this year is $640,000, which is $200,000 more. And once these 2 deals close, 3 personal, 1 referral, I will have made more this year already, and we're in halfway through the year. So you would have made more in 6 months in 2025 than last year on a team. Fewer transactions, less stress, and more money in my pocket. Yep. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. In our industry, it's all about chasing volume. And I pivoted to creating a business that allows me to be fully there for my clients and fully there for my family. And I'm still seeing the monetary results, which is just amazing. It's been a fun year.
That's amazing. So I want to backtrack a little bit more, because I wanted to start this episode off with like, where are you now? Like you're crushing it, but taking it back to before you even joined our community at EXP, you were on a team. Can you explain a little bit more about what it was like on the team and ultimately why you made the switch?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in the industry this is my 4th year, and I joined a team the end of 2023. So kind of right at that, going into my 3rd year. And the reason for going into a team is I wanted the ability to kind of shadow someone who knew a lot more about what they were doing, were more well-versed in the intricacies of doing real estate in the Sacramento area, and really having like the leads fed to me, just because that's just where I was. I needed that. I had two young kids at home, and I didn't have a lot of time to like go out and build my own business. And actually, I'll kind of pivot here and say that I feel like there are 2 buckets of finding real estate leads, and I'm really good at one bucket and I wasn't really good at the other bucket, and that's kind of why I needed a team. And the 2 buckets I see are long-term nurturing leads, where you are building those relationships, you're learning and getting a name for yourself and finding like people organically, And then there's those short-term leads for the right now money. And I didn't really have a good system for the right now money because, again, 2 small kids at home, I couldn't do a ton of open houses. I was not going to cold call and have screaming babies in the background. I was not all of the right now money options didn't really work for me. So to me, the answer was joining a team short term. And then while I cultivated all of these long-term relationships and long-term lead options. So that was why I joined a team, and I was giving away 60% of my commission, and I was getting leads. I did 8 deals in 2024. So it was a way to get deals under my belt. But the way that team found their leads, a lot of times they were paying for leads. And so not only was I giving a 60% cut, but off the top, we were also giving a 30% referral fee for these companies that my team leader was using. And it really hit me last summer when the amount of money that went into my savings account, after I paid taxes, all of my fees, all of the things for doing a transaction and having, it was a listing. So a lot of marketing expenses, a lot of time, a lot of client management, and it was less than $400 that I put into my bank account. And my husband said, "Is this worth it? This is a lot of time away from our family that you're putting in. This is a lot of money that you're putting in. And we're getting $400 in our, after all was said and done." And I was like, I don't know. This is I'm being told this is the way you gotta get those transactions under your belt. You gotta do all of these things. But I was sitting there going this is awful. This is, $400 is $400. That's not anything in the world of real estate, honestly. And so I ended up going to my team leader and trying to negotiate a higher split. She had gone out on maternity leave, so I was taking a ton of clients for her and doing a lot of work for her while she was on maternity leave. I felt like I had grown a lot in the year of doing transactions. I didn't need as much help. And so I went to her and just said hey, let's talk about a higher split. I'm happy staying on the team. I have no problem staying on the team. And she said no. And that was when I realized it was not going to work. And so, I'm always one, I feel like if you're in 5 pillars, I feel like you are a person who is very resourceful and very always looking and finding your own solutions to stuff. So I was consuming content all the time. I was learning about real estate, and I came across, I don't remember what podcast it was, but Shelby Johnson was the podcast host, and she had you on as a guest. And I don't remember what you guys were talking about, but I was like, oh my gosh, these chicks are so cool. They're so in line with my personality, and they're so chill and all these things. So, then I found the Agent Goldmine. And so then I started creeping on you guys on that podcast. And then, do you remember our first conversation? Do you recall that conversation?
Oh my gosh, putting me on the spot. No, I don't.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't expect you to, except that it's all good. It was super memorable to me because I remember during our conversation, I was telling you all of the things that I don't want in a brokerage. I'm like, I need to have autonomy. I need to have systems. I need to be with a group that when I want to dive in and be a part and absorb and get feedback and all that stuff, the group is there for me. But I'm a mom of little kids, and my income is supplementary income to our family. It's not I have to do all of these deals every single year or every month. And so when life gets hard, right now, we're moving into the summer months. My oldest is home from TK. He's between his TKK year. I still have my 3-year-old home with me for full time. And so I'm probably going to have to step back a little bit in the summer months because the kids and the family is going to take up a lot of my time. And so I remember I said to you, I need a group that is there when I need it, but doesn't nag on me when I don't and when I need to step away. And you said to me, you're like, I truly don't say this to everyone who I have a meeting with and wants to join us, but I feel like you are perfect for our group. And that has truly been the case of like, there are so many resources. There's so many, like whether I want to pop in live to one of our weekly calls or I want to watch something back that is in our like big educational library of things to do. There's so much resources for either me to do on my own pace, and same with EXP. Like I have all of the California EXP meetings. There's like 3 or 4 every single week. They're all on my calendar so that I can hop into them if I happen to be available or not. They go deep into the contracts for our state or updates on what's going on a national level, state level. I just feel like it's been that perfect like jump in, jump out. So when I made the leap to EXP, now I've been here for, I think I joined in November of last year. So this year I've had 3 personal transactions, and then I have 1 outbound referral that is closing on Thursday. And like you said at the top of the episode, when that transaction closes on Thursday, I will have made more money this year working with clients that I'm working with them because of that bucket that I was talking about, that nurturing bucket, the referrals, the building relationships, the like showing that I'm an expert in my groups. And those are higher quality leads. They are higher price point leads. I'm not giving any referral fees to anyone. I mean, heck, the outbound referral, like I just connected someone in my group that was moving out of the area with a stellar EXP agent and where they were moving. And now I get paid for making that connection. And so this is like so much less stress and so much more like in line with how I envisioned real estate was going to be. Before real estate, my background is in psychology. So I have my master's in counseling psychology, was marriage and family therapist for a little while, then became a board certified behavior analyst, worked with the autistic population for a while. Anyone who works in the psychology fields knows that the emotional drain that it takes to work with clients in that intensity, it's a very huge mental load. And so as I was getting ready to have kids, I was sitting there going, I am not going to be able to give fully to my clients and then come home and give fully to my family at the end of the day. And so that's when I decided to pivot into real estate. And that's when I decided that, not that it was going to be easy and not that I wasn't going to have to work nights and weekends, but these were all one-offs as opposed to a set schedule where I had to be at the client's house from 5 to 8 every single night, 3 times a week or whatever. So that was my initial pivot into real estate. And so then my goal when I had kids was I'm going to spend these years before my kids are in school full time, and I am going to become the most knowledgeable agent that I possibly can, and I'm going to soak up all of the education, learn how to do contracts, learn all of the systems that make a good agent. That way, when they're in school, I can hit the ground running and, focus more on volume. But that's not where I'm at right now. It's doing deals that come to me, also continuing to build who I am as an agent. So I just think that EXP has allowed me to build on the wealth of knowledge, to build on what it means to be an agent. And I'm already seeing the fruits of my labor in the transactions that I am closing, but it will just continue to grow. And I know that once my daughter goes to TK that I'm going to be way too busy and it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to be a rock star agent out here in Sacramento.
I mean, you already are. Your business is already, and oh, you know what? I want to backtrack a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
I now remember that conversation, and I remember a conversation after on Instagram after you already joined, where you texted me and you said you asked the specific question that you had, and then afterward a different text you're like, oh, by the way, good morning.
I do remember that because with the team that I was on, there was always the pleasantries. And it drove me crazy in the emails is it would be like the transaction coordinator on the team would always like finish. She would ask for something, I would send it, and then she would send an email that just said, thank you. And I was like, I don't need that extra email in my inbox. Like, I'm so glad that you're appreciative, but like, I just like, can we just, it's implied appreciation. I don't need that extra. So yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That was a good one.
That I think I'm like always going to remember, because I was like, hey, like we don't like, I love that you just have the question. Doesn't matter what time of day, like I'll respond when I can, just like you'll respond when you can. And I love talking like that. Like, skip the pleasantries. Like, we know that if we want something, we will ask. And so that's what I remember specifically. But okay, I want to back up a little bit more. Having joined that formal team, I didn't know that you were giving away 60% of your commission. I thought it was 50. That's crazy.
Oh wait, it was 40. I'm sorry. It was 40%. I was keeping 60. She took 40 of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. 60-40 split. So to the agents that are needing more now business, like you said, because I also think about leads in that type of way, like active versus passive and now versus later. And the later is always going to be strong because you've created that relationship. So therefore you don't have to compete with any other agent. The later is your business. The now you typically do have to compete because you have to be, it's usually speed. To back it up and to help other real estate agents that need more now business, would you suggest joining a team? And there's no right or wrong answer, like, because I've never been on a team. So I want like this to completely be your like raw answer. Would you suggest that they join a team within EXP so that way they have the now business and then leave the team but still stay with EXP? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it depends on if there's an EXP team that is local to them, because I think that's the benefit of the team, is having local. So for example, I've been on a couple teams. They've not panned out for various reasons. One of the teams that I was on before, after I joined 5 Pillars, they moved to EXP. So they're a local team. All of their branding is like still their brokerage. And now when agents want to join them, they have an option of joining them as a team where they cover like all of the marketing. It's a little bit of a lower split than EXP's like solo agent split. They get fed leads, those types of things, and they're getting the local training. But then because it's a local team and it's with EXP now, for those agents that don't need all of that hand-holding, they can just also join the group under regular EXP. I think now that EXP allows you to do 2 sponsors, and I don't know what that's like if someone were to join a local team as like their primary sponsor or I don't know. You know more about the co-sponsoring than I do, but I think that if someone could find a local EXP team, if they're new, that can give them that local guidance and feed the leads, or at least give them, when you have a team, maybe more open house opportunities. I mean, there are EXP agents everywhere. So really, if you want open house opportunities, you're going to find it if you're with EXP. But I'm just thinking on a team level, they're going to go to their team first and see if anyone can host open houses in the general area and then expand it to the rest of EXP. And then if you could have a secondary sponsor that is like us, where you're getting your systems, you're getting like the YouTube training or the Instagram training or just the transaction systems back-end stuff, it's a win-win, in my opinion. But I also don't know about EXP of like, if you start with a team, can you transition to a solo agent?
Yeah, which the answer is yes. Yeah,
Great.
You can. Yeah, so that is really good point about the team being local. Thinking further into that situation with now that EXP has a co-sponsorship, like you mentioned, if an agent was looking to get more of like systems or checklists, obviously like we're the crew for that.
Oh, for sure.
But in order for them to have access to that, they would have to name you as their primary.
Okay.
Because if they were to name you as their co-sponsor, then they wouldn't get access to me, Shelby, Ruben, Micah, like
Gotcha.
None of that.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's where the value is just like the depth of knowledge and education in the 5 Pillars Nation.
Yeah. Previously, before co-sponsorship, I used to suggest that for the agents that were kind of in your situation, like they had kids. They had like a more of a strict schedule that they needed to, they couldn't just go do open houses every single weekend. They didn't want to cold call because the screaming kids in the back. They had very, very, particular situations. I did suggest to them that they would name me as a sponsor, but then also join a local team. But now with the co-sponsorship, they have like the best of three worlds now. So now as I think about the now business, joining the local team, but naming them as a co-sponsor, and then keeping the primary for the value stack, or like which organization or upline in EXP is going to provide them the most. So, and then just to further clarify, in case this is their first time thinking or hearing about co-sponsorship, like what is that? I want to give a specific situation.
Please.
Co-sponsorship is now like you get access to two different people. So now with EXP, you have a lot, especially if you're a new agent. You have your mentor, which you're going to be with for your first 3 transactions if you're a new agent. Otherwise, if you've already done at least 3 in the last 12 months, you're not part of the mentor program. You're going to have your primary sponsor. You have access to all their like 7 levels. So you got to make sure that primary sponsor is able to unlock like whatever you want to do business with. Do you want to get business through YouTube? Do you want to get business through whatever? That's primary. The co-sponsor, you're only going to have access to them. So that is where I would likely suggest that you pick for someone local to you. Yeah. So the example that I just experienced now was someone out in Michigan was stuck between 3 potential sponsors within EXP. Out of 6, he narrowed it down to 3. And so he decided to name me as a primary because he wanted access to me, my stuff, Shelby, all of her checklist, Ruben, his coaching and numbers, and Micah, the agent attraction. And so then that left who to choose between the 2 for the co-sponsor. The co-sponsor, he ended up choosing a local agent who is an icon agent. So someone who's like doing a lot of transactions. So that way, instead of the 2 of them competing in the same market, now the icon agent is financially incentivized to see Rob do well, because when he closes, she's going to make money. And then what happened to the 3rd sponsor is he just purchased their course because they had a course available. He was like, it's a one-time fee. I'm going to purchase the course. And now I have the best of 4 worlds. Yeah. So that's how I'm thinking about it now. Like just the co-sponsorship stuff is co-sponsor. Yeah. I'm thinking a lot of times it's going to be best for the agent for them to choose a co-sponsor local. And then sometimes that co-sponsor could be the team leader. So then they have access to the team as well.
Well, and now that you mentioned that, like, why wouldn't you do that instead of joining a team? Because then you get, after you're done, if you're a new agent, after you're done with your mentor for 3, and that's like another local person, a local agent that you get access to. But after you're done with your 3 transactions with the mentor, you're already on the regular 80-20 EXP split. You've got all of the resources of your primary sponsor, and then the benefit of a possible local person who's killing it in your local market as your secondary. Like, I kind of feel like you're making your own team when you do it that way, and it's a win-win-win.
Yeah, exactly. It's a win for the co-sponsor, a win for the sponsor, or the primary, a win for the agent, like the sponsee, and a win for the brokerage. And then also a win for the clients, because then the clients are best served when that agent has so much more knowledge.
Right.
I want to back it up to when you were on the team and you went to the team leader and you tried negotiating your split. That must have been very frustrating. And it's a position that I've never been in, but I know that a lot of people like watching this right now either are scared of having that conversation, or maybe they've already had it and they've had a similar experience to yours. Like, I imagine that at that time where you're working your tail off and you're doing a good job, to then be told no, that there's no negotiation. I want to talk about your feelings. Like, what were you feeling? What were your thoughts there? Talk further about that.
I knew my worth. And I knew that I was losing. I knew that there was a winner and a loser in how that conversation went. And so that was just a light switch for me of, all right, then I got to find my exit route. I wasn't necessarily like, the emotions weren't terrible because it's pretty easy in the world of real estate to switch brokerages. Like, there are so many options, and I had a couple of things with the team that I just didn't personally like. And so the bigger stressor for me was not the fact that she didn't want to up my split, or that I knew that that was my time to get out. But the bigger stressor was, it is so much work to switch brokerages. I want to make sure that for this change, that it's the right move and it benefits me the most. I'm going to share something with you. I haven't shared it with you before. And that is that about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, there was a local to me brokerage that was recruiting me hard. They wanted me so bad. And I, in full transparency, I considered it. I was like, let's weigh the pros and cons. As an agent, you hold a lot of the cards. And so okay, brokerage, do you want me? Local brokerage, show me what you can provide me. And they were very flashy, and their marketing is amazing, and their local reach is great. But when you look at the numbers, it didn't make sense. I had nothing bad to say about EXP. My experience with EXP has been amazing. So in my head, I'm like, why would I leave a brokerage that is giving me everything that I want, everything that I was looking for in a brokerage? I have full autonomy. I answer to the California brokers, but it's like, for our group, it's not like you're calling me saying, Amanda, why don't you have something under contract? There's no pressure. I'm building my own brand. Why would I give that up? Because that's what it would have been doing, is I would have been giving up my autonomy. So just a full circle moment of when I was leaving the team, my biggest struggle emotionally was making sure that I moved to a brokerage that was going to be aligned with my needs and my life stage, and made sense, not only on paper, but in community. And then when I was given an opportunity to switch out of EXP and was recruited hard, it just reinforced the fact that EXP is where I'm supposed to be. So I don't know, just a fun little story there.
Yeah.
Letting you know that.
Thanks. That I'm a hot commodity.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. And that's going to continue happening. It's going to be forever. And it would be foolish for an agent to not run the numbers.
Sure.
Because it's
business.
Their business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just I think it would be foolish for people to not consider EXP, but also it really depends on what the agent's goals are. Maybe if you were an agent that needed more structure in your life, that needed more hand holding, needed to kind of to have that oversight of, hey, Amanda, let me give you that pep talk. And did you make your 10 cold calls?
Yeah.
Maybe that the other brokerages would be a better fit, or a team would be a better fit.
But then also I feel like we've just talked through how you can get that on steroids with EXP, with the co-sponsorship. So see, I feel like right now we're trying to justify, that's how it was with when I was looking at this brokerage, is I was trying to justify the move because the people are great. The broker is awesome. The agents in that brokerage are awesome. They're cool people. But so are we. so are we. I realized yeah, you got something good when you're trying to justify something that's not as great. So I mean, good on us for trying to hurrah, there's a brokerage out there for everyone, and this brokerage will be great for someone, which yeah, I guess. I think that there's too much flexibility with EXP, that it's the sky's the limit. We can set it up in such a way that it works no matter your life. I think that I'm one of the only moms with young kids in our group. Maybe not, but for all the meetings that I join and stuff, a lot of our group, veterans, investors, just different life stages than me. But I fit right in. And it's for the person like me that needs the pop in, pop out group, the access to all of the education, the access to the resources and the systems and the community, but also doesn't have the pressure to be involved when your life stage, even though I'm not the typical 5 pillars like a lot of veterans, a lot of investors, it still fits exactly what I need because we are full of agents who are self-driven. And I think that if you're an agent mom, then you need to be self-driven. If you're a veteran agent or an investor agent, like we all have the same mindset that makes it us meld together. So I'm excited for more agent moms to join 5 Pillars because I think that it is the perfect setup for agents like me.
That's exactly what I wanted to head next. So like in this next topic, before we close this up, being a mom, designing your business in such a way that fits into your schedule, because your personal life, your family life comes first, and then your business second. And there are a lot of other people in the same position that want to do the same, but maybe they don't really know how to yet. What does your schedule look like to make sure that you're prioritizing your family first and then your clients and then your business? Talk a little bit more about that, like advice to agent moms.
Yeah, it goes back to the buckets and focusing on the nurturing bucket. I find clients by being authentically me and leaning into the life stage that I'm in. So I started a mom group that has grown, a local mom group in our area, and we all like take our kids that are all 5 and under and we do river days or we go to parks or whatever. And the kids are all getting to know each other and becoming friends. The moms are all getting to know each other, becoming friends. And it comes up that I'm an agent, and it comes up of like what deal I'm working on or what I'm, and people are starting to like keep me in mind and refer me to people that they know because that relationship is built, right? So that it's about building that relationship with someone so that they want to say your name when they're in the right room and someone needs an agent. Same with like getting involved in my son's school. So he just finished his first year in school. And so getting more involved in school, meeting other parents that way. And I do lean into social media as well. That's like the other one that is helping me start to get leads is social media. But really it's about melding your life and what it is that makes you a mom, what it is that is taking up all of your time and making it your superpower. So the clients that I work with, like right now I have an active client. They are relocating from Salt Lake City to Sacramento. They found me on Reddit, found me on Instagram, and now we're like, working together. And I'm actively, we're actively house hunting. They have 2 kids, they homeschool, and they expect my kids to be with us when we go on showings. Or if I do a lot of stuff texting just because wildness of what is happening in the background. Like I do a lot of texting, a lot of emails, but if a client wants to talk, like I'll hop on a phone with you, but I'm going to preface it with, hey, just so you know, like there might be little crying gremlins in the background. Like it doesn't mean that I'm not like giving to you fully, but just know that when we're talking, like if you can ignore them, I'll try to step outside. They might try to follow me and scream at my heels, like, but I'm still really good at what I do. And so I work with clients that understand that, appreciate it. And then it's super important to have the systems. So I use Trello and checklists for all of my systems for listings and buyers and everyone. And so that's it. Like leaning into your relationships, trying to find ways to make what could be liabilities your strength, and finding your niche of people, because there's a client for everyone. And I am starting to find mine, and it feels really good.
I bet that does. That is so exciting. Before actually I asked my last question, is there a topic that we haven't spoken about that you want to talk about?
I think in real estate, we're told that we have to chase volume. We're told that the sign of being successful is how many deals you've closed, how many leads you've tracked down, how many phone calls you've made. And for some people, that is their sign of success. And for some people, especially for those that need real estate to be their full-time job, like those are important. But I think that there's a niche of agents, and I'm one of them, that I don't want to say part-time agenting, because I'm not a part-time agent. Even though I work with fewer clients, I am constantly getting more educated. I'm attending meetings. I'm staying on top of the market. Like, I am fully invested as an agent, even though my volume is less at this stage in life. But I am building a business that allows me to focus fully on my clients and on my family. And I think that, you know, when you go down the Reddit rabbit hole or the Facebook rabbit hole and people are all like, you got to be a full-time agent or you shouldn't be doing it, I think it's too black and white. And I think that there's room for agents like me where it's a little bit of a gray area, and you can be successful and you can be a great agent and provide good value to your clients while also not breaking your back over cold calling or doing 4 open houses every weekend or chasing the volume.
That was perfectly said. I'm going to end the episode on that. When people listen to this and want to ask you questions, they're also a real estate agent mom trying to figure it out, the now business, the later business, you're living proof that it can be done. Mm-hmm. How can they reach out to you? What's the best way?
Instagram is probably the easiest way, and I am Explore Sac Living. I really dive into the lifestyle and romanticizing the lifestyle of living in Sacramento and raising a family in Sacramento. So Explore Sac Living is my handle. Amanda Freeman, Sacramento Realtor.